November 22nd, 21st actually. It's the eve of my birthday, and it marks the day I got cut in my face. When I got these scars, or as they say back in New York, my buck 50. Um, yeah, just I just just get very grateful for life, and you know, where I could have ended up, instead. It's a good feeling. Oh man, okay. Uh, I was dancing back then. I was be a dancer, and I remember I was getting ready to come to London actually for a tour with Izora from the Weather Girls. Remember her? Remember that? So yeah, I went home. I'd been dancing one day. I went home, and a friend of mine, a high school buddy of mine, calls me. He's like, "Yo, what are you doing?" I said, "Man, I'm chilling." He said, "I come outside for a drink." I'm like, "Where?" He said, "In the city." I said, "Dude, I just left the city." You know, he said, "Nah, nah, nah. I'll put you in the cab, send you home. Just come out." I'm like, "Nah, nah, nah. Tomorrow's the big day, actually. So I'm just gonna get drunk tomorrow. We do it all day tomorrow." So as we're talking, my mom picks up the phone and starts sassing me by being on her phone. I was mortified to say the least, so I decided to take my friend up on that drink after all. So I went to the city, and we were chilling at some bar in the village, I believe, and we were just having a ball, man. And then in comes another one of his friends, and Pathfinders had just hit the street at that time. Everybody was driving, it's like the new thing. Trucks had just become sexy. Everybody was like doing the Jeep thing. So we all piled up in this man's truck, about at least 8 or 9 deep. Like dudes just sitting all over each other. It's crazy. So we went to Queens for this next bar. It was supposed to be popping on this particular night. And we got in there, and by that time I was in full mode. We used to drink this thing called the potion. It was Absolute and Bailey's Irish cream mixed together, a potion. So we went to the next bar, and I started dancing like I always do, clear the dance floor. That's what we do, and decided to go outside and get some air. When I go outside, I see a friend of mine from Brooklyn surrounded by a bunch of dudes that was getting ready to jump him and his cousin. So, in full Brooklyn mode, I go over there and, what up, what up? We got your back. I got my boys inside. We all from Brooklyn. It ain't going down. So, he instructed me that he was cool. Don't worry about it. So I said, all right. I went back in the bar. I said, you know what? I think I want to get back to my hometown and my stomping grounds. Felt a little out of place there. So I went to East. Let's go, man. He said, all right, let me write anybody up. I said, cool, I'll meet you outside. Wrong thing to do. Especially after talking all that shit, you feel me? So I get outside, and there's one dude from that clique. He kept walking behind me, right? So I noticed him, dude pacing behind me. So I'm like, yo, dude, you all right? He said, what? What? And I was like, oh, come on, man. We all one. We supposed to be brothers out here having fun, man. So, man, it ain't even that deep. What? What? I said, yo, bro, you got a problem? And I turned around. Apparently, I thought he was kissing his teeth at me, but apparently he was getting that blade ready in the right position in his mouth to swipe and cut. So when I turned around, that's exactly what happened. Swipe and cut. So that was the first blow of the fight, and we started going at it. But we were fighting. No, this dude is not punching me. He kept smacking me, like just doing this. I was like, all right, your battle. You feel me? So my friend comes out, Eric, looking for me, and notices that I'm in a full-fledged fight. And hey, more the merrier. So he jumps in, and we really start beating this dude's ass. And then all of a sudden, things started to go awry. Like I felt bats and crowbars in my back and shit like that. So his crew saw that we had jumped their friend, and they decided to jump us. And it got real ugly real quick. And I can remember my friend Eric like pulling me to the left, and off we went running down Jamaica Boulevard, and then got halfway down the road. Oof. I'm like, so I noticed he was cut too. So he was cut here on his wrist, and he was squirting a bit because of the alcohol. So I took my shirt. I'm playing Doogie Howser. I got my little thing. I said, pressure on the wound, stop it. And as I'm tending to him, he looks up at my face and pulls his arm away. He's like, yo, Mike's gonna be all right. I'm like, what you mean? What's good? So he's like, now you got a little touch in your face, but it's all good. So I went like this, like, oh shit. All the time I thought that was just sweat. So yeah, I decided I need to go back and someone has to die tonight. That was just simple. Either I'm gonna kill him, or he gonna kill me, but it ain't ending like this. So I go back to the bar.
Why did you go back?
I was mortified. I was angry. I was so mad, and I felt violated. I mean, I'm not a fighter. I did not grow up like that. My mom was very adamant about fighting in the street. She was just, I'm not raising no street niggas. I'm not raising no street niggas. You're gonna have some respect. I'm not raising no street niggas. So I wasn't allowed to really fight. You feel me? So the fact that I saw my face mauled up, I'm like, dude, it was a fair fight. Why would you want to pull out a razor? It was. I mean, even though my friend did jump in, even before that, it was a fair fight. I was already cut. The first blow, I got cut in my face. So I don't know. I was just angry. I just felt like not cool. I don't know. Just felt violated. I never saw my blood dripping like that. It was just crazy. And then I think I went into like a little bit of shock. Because when he first did it, the cut was so clean. I guess my adrenaline was running so hard. I don't know. So anyway, I just decided that someone has to die for this. Either I'm gonna die trying, or I'm gonna kill somebody. So I went back, and Eric was with me, my boy. We marching back down Jamaica Boulevard, getting ready to fight again. So when we get back to the door of the bar, there was all our friends that was in that Pathfinder were outside. And they were all in a circle, huddled around one of our other friends from that crew. Apparently, one of them had came out right after Eric and I ran, and the guys figured out that we were together, and they beat the brakes off his ass. I mean, he had all his wounds in his head. He had to see a neurologist for like a year after that shit happened. But I had wondered why, on the walk back, they didn't chase us. And apparently the dude that cut me, when we got jumped by his crew, we kept him under us, and for every 10 licks I got, we gave him 1 and 2. But apparently one of us got his thumb and broke it back. So we ran. He was just like bugging out. So I guess they tended to him and his thumb because it was hanging. So by the time we got back to the bar, I noticed that one of our friends was on the floor. So we had to pick him up and put him in the truck. And I guess the other guys was trying to calm their friend down because he was just out of it. So
Is that something that was normal in your life?
no.
Did you see fights a lot, and did you see people getting?
Yeah, so lots of violence. I mean, things shit happens. Bottles getting broken over the head. But I grew up at a different time. There was gunplay, a lot of gunplay, but it was a lot of fair fighting going on too. I mean, you live to talk about it. The gun thing didn't start really get out of hand until the 90s, but the 80s it was just you just got your ass kicked. So I could basically remember. But I was never, whatever it was, I was never really allowed to go there. I never. I think my first gun I shot was actually as Omar Little on the wire. That was the first gun I ever really fired. So
So what is it about knives
think with the difference with knife, when someone gets you with a knife, it's so personal. It takes a different type of mentality to stab, to kill somebody, and to shoot. You know, when you're shooting, there's a distance, there's a space. You know, you can put this like invisible wall up and just like, and just think, you know, but then when you actually walk up to somebody and you shove a blade in them or you just cut them, and I don't know if you can see it, but most people don't notice, but the same night, the next cut I got was here. And it starts right about my jugular, somewhere right here, right about there. I just could feel it. You know, my plastic surgeon said this shit was gonna go away. He was not lying. I can't feel it no more. It's probably here somewhere. But yeah, it was just, I think that someone who does things with a knife, it's just, they just serious about it. And cause you know, you whatever you're doing with that knife, you feel that on the other side of that blade. You know, with the gun, once the bullet leaves the chamber, it's a wrap. You feel me? Your half is done. But that knife thing is like you stay with your person through the entire process. It just, you know, it's a different mentality, total different mindset.
Did you think you were going to die that night?
What scares me most was that I didn't care. I didn't care. Didn't matter. Didn't matter. Which is why that day always rings up. You know, ironically, it was the day that I was born that I didn't care if I lived or died. You know, a lot of shit going on. It was my 25th birthday, which we call it supposed to be like a milestone. I was just starting to get my life together, you know, from all the shit I got into as a kid. You know, and you know, it's just like my mom always said, things happens in threes. You know, people die in threes, things happen in threes, everything. So this was the third thing that happened to me in the space of a month. I had been arrested. I was going to court for 2 cases of grand theft auto. So not a car thief, but you know, anyway, ended up with those 2 charges. And
Basically got picked up for something you hadn't done.
no, I had the first one I had done. The second one just I wasn't told all the information of the, you know, when you, so this is a rule, when you get into a car, if you with somebody you don't know, you might want to ask certain questions, you know what I mean, what's going on. But yeah, second time was just wrong place, wrong time. First time I was got caught my pants down. But anyway, so yeah, I was going to court for 2 grand theft autos charges, and then this happens. You know, I just, you know, I really thought that I did think I was going to die. I thought my death was going to probably come soon. You know, my mom, she thought it as well. She was like, you know, she went and took out some extra life insurance. You know, she's like, you ain't going to stick me with no bill.
What, for your funeral?
Yeah, she was serious. My moms don't play. She's like, nope, okay, this one's going south. Let me prepare for this shit now, because I don't get stuck with no bill when he drop, because this dude is not going to live to see 30. And, you know.
Why had life become so cheap for you, do you think, at that stage?
No direction, which is typical, no direction. I never really did nothing right except do things wrong, really. I wasn't like a thug, never, you know, did none of that stuff, never sold drugs. Although I wish I had the mentality, because, you know, some of the most smartest people I've met, math and everything, are, you know, drug dealers. You know what I mean? So I wish I had that mindset, but I didn't. So I pride myself in being a good fuck up, which it dealt with a lot of drugs, you know, a lot of partying. You know, I've been on a quest to become, because I had a need to fit in. It was my community, you know what I'm saying? You know, the girls did one thing and the guys did another thing, and I was like somewhere in the middle, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Ever since you were little, is that a feeling you always can remember having?
Yeah.
Right back to like your first memories?
Yeah, you know, I could always felt like I didn't really fit in. You know, I think the first time I felt that way was my mother's Caribbean and my father's American from the South. And growing up in Vanderveer, or we called it the Veer back in them days, there was a huge split in African American culture, which, you know, I can't wait to do a piece about this. You know, it was like I felt like a biracial child in my neighborhood, believe it or not. It was crazy because I had to fit in. There was a strong West Indian culture, West Indian Caribbean culture, and then you had just a black Southern American culture fighting to thriving, because it was a huge migration of West Indian Caribbean culture coming to, especially my neighborhood in Brooklyn, and it just did not go well. A lot of clashing, a lot of lack of understanding for different cultures, and at first it was just like this Black American against West Indians. So, you know, I would literally, like, I had two types of clothes that I would wear. Crazy. You know, and then I remember one time I got caught coming with this, like, my American friends caught me coming out of my West Indian friend's house, and, you know, I can remember I got ridiculed.
It's amazing.
I got ridiculed.
I don't think many people know about that.
No, the part of Brooklyn where I come from, a small pocket, you know, it's called East Flatbush, but it's a whole other world. It's a whole other world from Brooklyn. It's just, you know, the things that went on there. And then as that went on, as that battle died, which affected me, the next thing became was because the Black American culture just slowly died, quickly died in Brooklyn, in my area, and became just a melting pot of West Indian Caribbean culture. But then that didn't go well. You think it'd be cool then. That didn't go well neither because I'm Jamaican. Well, I'm Trinity. Well, I'm Asian. You know, or I'm Guyanese, the Banascunt. And everybody fought for whose island is the best. And that became even more bloodshed. So I just always tried walking on eggshells and wouldn't offend nobody, trying to, you know. But I became a people person.
You got on with everybody.
Got along with everybody.
And then, because you also said that not only was there that, but then there was the kind of the whole macho culture. And you didn't.
I didn't do that well. No, I hung up with, like, the earlier part of my years, especially before I became like a full-fledged teenager, was spent with girls. I hung up with the girls a lot. You know, when I was younger, when it was like, you know, when it was baseball and stickball and skelly, you know, I had my boyfriends. But then, you know, as some of them got older, some of us went to the corner and some of us had to stay on the stoop. I was a stoop kid. So, you know, I'm like, hey, I'll be right here when you want to play some more skelly. Got the stickball ready to go. You know, so, and when that happened, when my male friends started getting older, and shit, I was, you know, I was not the ladies' dude, you know what I'm saying? And so, but I always hung around the girls. The girls just, you know, like Mike for some reason. And it wasn't like a boyfriend, girlfriend. It was just like, Mike is cool, you know what I mean? And so I just had a lot of girlfriends until one day, I was about like 12 or 13. Maybe, you know, actually I may have been a little older. No, I think it was like around 14, 15. A friend of mine, was one of my best friends now, you know, comes up on my court. Vanderveer consists of like about 6, 7, maybe 8 different courts. No, about 6 to 7 different courts. And I was not allowed to leave my courtyard. So
Because
my mother didn't allow that shit. I had to still kind of like stare into her window. And this time she knew that I was in, you know, drugs was already a part of my life by this age. And I was sneaking. And by the time I was like 12, 13, I knew what it was. I walked with my own bag of weed, shit like that. So anyway, she comes on this court, Robin, my court, and she's like, you come with me. Now, Robin is a lesbian, but she's a gorgeous, gorgeous, brown skin, hazel-eyed, long-haired, bottle body. You know, she wore nothing but Levi's suits and wife beaters. That's the t-shirts, no bra, you know, and by this time I'd seen her beat up several men. You know, she was really not to be fucked with. And she comes on my court and goes, you're coming with me today. And I'm like, What did I do? Did you hear? I said something that I did. What? It's not true. Whatever you heard is not true. So I said, well, can I finish my game of handball first? She goes, yeah, finish your game. And she sat there. I was hoping I would win, and I couldn't leave my partner stay. So she stayed right there. She would not leave until I finished my game of handball. I finished, and her father was a tennis instructor at Brooklyn College, right? So she had like a full pass to that entire campus. Now coming from my projects at that time, to walk to Brooklyn College was like night and day with the type of environment. You know, I went all of a sudden there's clean grass without the dog shit. You know, there's quiet, there's sereneness, and we ran all over that campus like two little kids. We went swimming in the pool, and it was just like a great day off my courtyard. And on our way back home, back to Vegas, walking back, there was a slab of, in fact, the year was 1979 because we wrote the year. We put out, there was a fresh slab of cement, still wet, feet right in, and we wearing Pro-Cad, 69er Pro-Cads, Pro-Cad 69ers, and Pookie and Mike was here, 79, and that stayed there for years and years. And she started to give me my boyism. Like, she became my first real homeboy as a young adult teenager thing was going there, so yeah, my best homeboy was actually a girl. But she felt that okay, 15, 13, 14, whatever age it was, hanging around the girls, not fucking, not cool. You need to get away from them a little bit, Mike. And she saw that. She saw that I need to, because I always got picked on as a kid. I was not the macho type. I either got called Blackie or faggot Mike. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but it wasn't like, I don't want you to think that I was like Carrie. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, don't laugh at me. It wasn't that severe. But I did get picked on, but that was just the way the neighborhood was. No signs of weakness. It wasn't just me. Anybody was showing signs of weakness. In fact, on my court, which actually was a positive thing in a weird way before I say this, it was positive. We had different, like all the boys on my courtyard, we formed generations. And like, it was a weird thing how we were responsible for each other, and like, there was a kind of big brotherly thing that went on my court, and it was real healthy, but it was with a lot of like rough and toughness, like wedgies, head noggins and stuff like that, and a lot of sports was involved, a lot of sports, man, on my court, because I lived on the biggest court in my project, so like a good football game, tackle football game in the snow was like, we had the biggest baseball courts. And like there was a big brother vibe, thing that went on, but the downfall was you were not allowed to show weakness. Like the whole thing was, because there was hardly any dads around. It wasn't daddies, wasn't a big thing. So it was just like some of the older brothers would adopt some of the younger brothers on the court, and so got tough, make you a man, toughen them up, and sports, and women, and no weakness was kind of like the menu for the day.
Do you still see who you are as being a weakness?
No. It's still a gift and a curse, in a sense. I could be gullible at times, a little happy-go-lucky. Not such a good thing all the time, but it's definitely, I don't look at it as, such a all bad thing anymore. Well, I have to monitor it, like everything, I have to monitor,
Can you be yourself in your own community, amongst your own kind?
I think that was the no problem.
Sorry, yeah.
Memory lane.
Can you feel that you grew up with and those that you kind of love? And
Well, yeah, I do. It's just unfortunate I don't get to be around them a lot. Like, you know, it was a large neighborhood. Vanderbilt was like 59 buildings, 6 stories tall, each of them. And it was a community at the time. Everybody knew each other, but everybody isn't. Yeah, there's very few people that I'm in constant contact with that I knew from my childhood. Very few.
so how, when you said to me when you got slashed, it changed your life. How did it change your life?
How hasn't it?
Yeah.
Still going to local bars, still getting drunk. I don't drink the potion anymore. But I'm still rocking and rolling. It hasn't changed that yet. Don't know if that's such a great thing either. But it's where I'm at right now.
It changed your career though, didn't it? I mean,
Yeah. It actually gave me the career that I have now. I would, you know, it's crazy. It's just, you know, like a second chance in life, you know what I'm saying? Because I was really on the road to nowhere. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a lot of education. Was not the bookworm. So the fact that I've been given like this second chance to do something with my life, to land here, it's like 0 to 60. So I just feel really blessed. It's not really about the career. It's the fact that a lot of time making wrong moves, a lot of mistakes, a lot of bad decisions. A lot. Yeah.
can you see the light at the end of the tunnel? Can you see? Because it sounds like you still don't feel like you've turned the corner you necessarily want to turn, even though
No,
you're doing amazing
I haven't.
things.
I haven't.
You're doing, you know, obviously on the outside you're revered now, and you're becoming a big star in the world of film and acting. But is it not? Hasn't it happened?
It has not fed the beast yet. The beast is still hungry. And I don't know what it wants to eat next. I know it's trying to eat me. But it can't have me. But I gotta tame the beast. I thought that this would do it, but negative. So it's definitely it's an internal thing, not an external.
It sounds like whoever you were as a kid is still kind of clamoring to be the adult in the adult somewhere.
Yeah.
Just gonna be who you are. You're lovely.
I gotta figure out who I am first. Like, who the hell is Michael Kenneth Williams? You know what I mean? Will the real Mike stand up? But on another note, with this career thing, this journey, it's the first thing that held my attention in my life. I was always hyperactive. I can remember in 1st or 2nd grade, my teacher strongly recommended that I seek a psych. And there I was in a psychiatrist's office, and I had to look at the blotches and say what they were. And after a few visits, they told my mother to put me on Thorazine. I was 6 or 7 years old. So she didn't do it. She didn't do it, but they told her to put me on Thorazine.
Because of your hyperactivity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she didn't do it. So, but I never could focus. I mean, like, you know, I could look at. I always crammed in school. Like, it was like shit was boring to me. I would read the index and the index and the prefix of a book and write my paper. You feel me? and get good. That would be it. You know what I mean? And just nothing held my attention except for the party life. You know, that held my attention pretty good. And then when I found out that I could make a living at being in the club, becoming a dancer, and traveling, it held my attention for a good long while. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this. You know what I mean? First thing I was able to focus on.